So earlier today I was playing Battlegrounds and just having a good time in Victory Track. I mean, just look at this draft right here. Pretty good options for all these champs. 6 rank 4s and a few of my favorites along with Archangel just to deal with Nick Fury. Might not be the strongest in terms of defensive options, it is more leaning on the offensive side. But I only really need 2 good defenders to win a match. And that's assuming we both play well and don't make any mistakes. So if I were him, I would have picked Abomination for his 7th champ, because that would sort of force me to use Archangel, so then I wouldn't have a great option for Nick Fury. But he decides to go with Sauron instead, which I wouldn't have done because I have so many options for that. However, this actually ended up playing pretty well for him because I made one silly little mistake. So as my first defender, I dropped down Mojo and I'm thinking, okay, he's probably going to use Torch with pre-fight and take him down fairly quickly. And of course, he decides to play Sauron, who is primarily a defender. But I have Guardian and Tigra, so I can probably get at least 54,000 from this matchup. But I decided to try Hood, because I wanted to just see how he does against this matchup. Because I was feeling pretty confident about this match in general, just based on roster. So even if I lose this one, I'll likely still get 2 back. But here's the epic mistake I made. I kind of just rested my arm on the screen, and that selected Doom for this matchup just before the timer ended. And I tried to change it to literally anyone else because Tigra, Negative, Doom, Hood, well maybe not Archangel, but pretty much all my other champs would have been better for this matchup. And what made it suck even more is Doom was my ace defender. Like after placing Mojo to draw out the torch with the pre-fight, he was the only one I was thinking would actually do some damage and draw out the longest fight time. But now I'm stuck using Doom against Sauron, and clearly I don't know how to use Doom against Sauron. Like I actually forgot that he's immune to power steal. So I'm trying to go for special 1 when he has plenty of power, and then do the Doom cycle. And I'm getting clipped by special 2s as well while I'm trying to bait combos and shallow intercept. Like that took me by surprise, I did not expect to get hit like that. So I finally get to drop a special 3, and he's got 3 balls of power almost, so I'm thinking, good time for the Doom cycle. And I'm going for it, but I'm not getting any power back with my light attacks. I'm like, what's going on right now? Is this some weird interaction with Rich Get Richer and Doom? Because I've never actually used them on attack before. But anyway, so that doesn't work obviously because he's immune to power steal. So he stays at 3 balls of power and drops his special 3 with 10 prowesses, so that does a fat chunk of damage. And I can survive the hits at least. However, it also applies some passive degen and that just wipes me out. So yeah, pretty epic way to lose this fight, and of course he wins. Took some damage though, but still all he had to do was solo the fight since I got knocked out. So now I'm kind of sweating, so I just used my 2 best defenders in the first round and lost. So now I've got to deal with a Nick Fury, so I'm going to use Archangel of course. So I decided to place Guardian since he's the tankiest. And even though he does have some solid options like Hercules and CGR, I'm hoping that the Rich Get Richer could just make the fight a little bit slower. Although if things align with CGR, he could still nuke the fight fairly well. So I'm a little bit concerned about that, because my fight's not going to be the quickest just because Nick Fury does have 2 lives. But at least it's a fairly safe fight as long as Nick Fury cooperates and I don't get bad RNG with my neurotoxins. So as usual, just going to parry heavy for the most part. And I do want to prevent the special 1 from being thrown, so I will typically hold block when he has 1 bar of power and try to push him to 2 bars before I bait a special attack. Here it didn't quite work out because I didn't want to actually re-parry. I was hoping I could just parry 1 time so I take less block damage, but I guess he decided to throw it at times when I was not blocking for those few split seconds. But anyway, I'm getting decent RNG here, stacking those bleeds and getting a decent amount of poisons on the re-parries. Just holding block, baiting special 1, going in when he is stunned from the neurotoxins. And then I was hoping I could somehow bypass his 2nd life by getting a neurotoxin on him between the transition, but that didn't quite work out. Like there have been times when I've been able to do it, but it's very rare and difficult to replicate. But anyway, he's still going down steadily here. Only annoying thing is I'm taking a little bit more block damage due to him having the Fury buff. And he was very close to getting to 3 balls of power here, but I was hoping that I would just end him before he can even throw a special attack. But he decides to throw a special 2, and then he goes down. Okay, so I'm like, wow, he's actually still fighting my Guardian. And then he comes out after 70 seconds, and I'm like, okay, that actually worked out pretty well for me. Because I've had guys nuke my Guardian with CGR before. So yeah, fortunately that one worked out for me. So the second round, I'm like, who to place now? I have to place first, so I am at a bit of a disadvantage. So I decided to go with Tigra, so I still have two good options for all these champs. You know, if he places Doom, then Negative is the obvious choice, whereas I'd use Hood for the other two. So then he decides to place Doom, of course, which, you know, makes sense. Although I actually probably would have placed Apocalypse, because it might take a little bit longer without the class advantage, and it's not the safest fight with Negative, you know, because he can counter evade, although it's a very low chance, I think only 10% after the first evade. Whereas if I used Hood, there would be no buffs to take advantage of, so it still wouldn't be the quickest fight, although still not too bad. Only nice thing is I can just miss the special one with invisibility, although I've always been pretty decent at dexing Apocalypse's special, so that wouldn't have been an issue for me. But the thing that surprised me the most is that he went with Apocalypse for my Tigra. And Apocalypse, as great as he is just not really a Battlegrounds champ, in my opinion. I haven't even had him in my deck at all since the beta, because he's just not the fastest attacker. He's actually a bit slow. Unless you can fight against mutants, then he's okay, at rank 4 at least. And as a defender, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I find him very easy to fight against. Like, I don't really need a specific counter for him. I will usually use Guardian or Tigra just for the speed and safety, because they'll take him out pretty quickly without taking much damage. But there have been several times where I've used other champs against him just to save my Tigra and Guardian for more niche matchups. But anyway, I guess the moral of the story is never give up, or something along those lines, because even if you have a really bad start and kind of mess up your potential for future rounds, you can still come back, because you never know what might happen on the other side. So yeah, I just wanted to share this matchup because I thought that I completely screwed myself when I accidentally selected Doom for that Sauron. Like, I genuinely thought I was gonna lose the match after that first round. But anyway, I hope you guys found this interesting, and I know I said I was planning on streaming some Battlegrounds, but we've just been having so many power issues and restrictions here in South Africa that's been quite difficult to do lately. But I do have plenty of gameplay recorded right now. I just haven't decided how I'm gonna structure some videos yet. I might do more champion specific stuff, like the one with the Hood, or just more interesting matches or my favorite matchups. And by tomorrow I should finally reach Gladiator Circuit, so I can at least do some root stuff before the season ends. So yeah, thanks for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.